Hello everyone and welcome to my Bachelor Nation official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and gives this video a thumbs up. For the most part, viewers have slammed Grant Ellis' season as The Bachelor as underwhelming, and I believe this is because Grant isn't on the show for the proper reasons. Grant is less charming than the other protagonists, and he has become less decisive and certain of himself as the season progresses. With the season final coming soon, Grant is down to his finals. Juliana Pasquarosa, 28, is a client services associate. Lisha Gare, 31, is a model and venture capitalist. Whoever he chooses, I believe we should look back at certain indications that Grant's intentions may not be sincere. There hasn't been a clear front-runner on The Bachelor season 29, and I believe this is due to Grant's lack of interest in any of the ladies competing. He thinks he has made significant relationships, that Grant even told Lisha he loved her on their fantasy suite date, but I believe he regretted it afterward. I'm not persuaded Grant loves anyone enough to make a meaningful commitment, and I feel he came on the show for celebrity rather than love. From drama with the women to leading some of them on, to ensuring his image is maintained, Grant has demonstrated that he is more concerned with the notoriety of going on the show than with finding his bride. Grant allowed Carolina Sophia's shenanigans dominate the first part of the season, just to send her home before hometown dates, leaving me wondering what the point of it all was. It was a waste of time, but Grant appears unconcerned. He's on the show to become a public personality, and this couldn't be clearer. When Carolina questioned Grant about Rose's song, claiming that he indicated he was thinking of Rose while dancing with Carolina, Grant flipped out. His posture shifted and he got defensive, declaring, "I'm not here to play games or be a player." I believe Grant took it so personally because he felt it was terrible for his image. Grant accused Rose of lying about what he said, despite the fact that he did say to her, "I'm really interested in you. Even today, with all the dancing on stage and everything, I was thinking of you. I don't want you to think I wasn't paying attention, because I was." Rose may have misinterpreted Grant's thoughts, and she probably should not have turned around and informed Carolina what Grant said, as it did produce drama. However, Rose did not lie, and Grant said those things, thus it is up to him to clarify rather than accuse Rose of making it up. Another huge red flag in Grant's season is his drive to make his singing career a reality. Grant released a single, "Party Girl," on Spotify just before the season debut. Grant's experience as a former pro basketball player and finance professional does not speak to his artistic ambitions. Grant, on the other hand, made it obvious during the performance that he wants to pursue a career in music. Grant let Alexa Godin sit and listen to him play the keyboard on one of their dates, and he rapped a song before a group challenge date with Mario, the singer. Grant isn't afraid to speak up, which leads me to believe that's why he's on the show. He previously claimed that his mother was the one who signed him up for Jen Tran's season of The Bachelorette, which led to his landing the Bachelor role. He may have felt that appearing on reality TV would be an excellent starting point for a career in entertainment. Carolina Sophia, a 29-year-old public relations producer, was determined to win Grant over from the moment she appeared on television. She was fiery and dramatic, and she made everything about herself. Grant, as the protagonist, should have had more control over the situation, and he should not have let Carolina's antics steal the show. Carolina and Grant had chemistry. Grant and any of the competing women had the best chemistry, in my opinion. Carolina was determined to achieve her goal, and nothing was going to stop her. Carolina believes this is fair, as she is on the show to win. However, Grant felt that this caused unnecessary chaos and distraction. His obsession with Carolina and her feelings made the other ladies feel uneasy, and they distanced themselves from Grant. When the Rose crisis erupted, Grant did not behave honorably. Instead, he was rebellious and wanted to prove he wasn't a player, which is difficult given that he's on a show with 25 women. To some extent, playing the game is an integral component of the program. Carolina succeeded in sticking out, but she failed when Grant sent her home. After all of that, Grant, Carolina, and the other women felt as if their time did not receive a fair shake on this season of The Bachelor. She stayed in the running by keeping a low profile, but she stood up when necessary, even arguing with Carolina before being sent home. Dina first backed Carolina, but felt Carolina did not return the favor, resulting in additional controversy. Dina was honest about her family's reservations about her appearing on the show. They supported her but chose not to be included in the filming. When it came time for Dina's hometown date, and she introduced Grant to her friends rather than her family, I thought Grant criticized her for it. Despite Zoe's lack of relatives to meet on her hometown date, Grant had an issue when Dina's family chose not to arrive. Grant sent Dina home after hometown dates, and it was evident that her family's lack of participation was a significant factor for him. It didn't feel fair because Zoe didn't have her family's support either, yet Dina was ousted as a result. Dina handled her elimination with dignity, stating that if he wasn't certain about her, she didn't want him. Oh, the fantasy suite has it all. Bachelor viewers understand that the fantasy suite date, in which the lead spends the night with the contestants before being eliminated, is an important part of the season. While this is a Disney-owned show, we don't get to see much of what happens in the fantasy suite, but fans can use their imagination. Unless it is clearly stated that there was no physical contact, like in Licia's case, it is safe to presume that Grant was intimate with Zoe and Juliana during their overnight stays. Following Grant and Zoe's fantasy suite date, Grant rudely sent her home. I'm not sure how Zoe felt, but I'd assume she felt a little used because Grant had to have an idea of who he was going to choose, and one night in the fantasy suite was unlikely to change that. Again, the fantasy suite is incorporated into the presentation, so the women understand what they are signing up for. Still, being sent home the next day couldn't have felt good for Zoe. Grant Ellis' season of The Bachelor has left audiences divided. For the most part, viewers have slammed his season as underwhelming, and I believe this is because Grant isn't on the show for the right reasons. Unlike his predecessors, he lacks charm, decisiveness, and sincerity. As the season progresses, it has become increasingly evident that he is more concerned with his public image than with genuine connections. With the season final fast approaching, Grant is left with two finalists, Juliana Pascorosa, a 28-year-old client services associate, and Licia Gare, a 31-year-old model and venture capitalist. Whoever he chooses, it is worth examining the red flags that indicate Grant's true intentions. From the start, there hasn't been a clear front-runner. This is likely due to Grant's lack of interest in any of the women competing. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, do not forget to subscribe to my channel and do not miss any updates.